the African continent's independence is meaningless unless it is linked to the total removal, unequivocal removal of the Berlin Conference 1884-1885 artificial borders that they have created for us. Did you hear what I said? The African continent's independence, I'm talking about all 54 states, is meaningless unless it is linked to the total removal of these artificial borders that were created by the Berlin Conference of 1884 and 1885. That is the nemesis of all the problems that we are having today. And of course, the main, I'm saying this, and please do not take this lightly, leaders, the Berlin Conference of 1884 and 1885, they created these artificial borders. It was a cryptic group of Europeans, and mind you, at the time that they did it, there was no independent African country whatsoever a part of that convention. They sat down in Berlin, Europeans and Americans, in 1884, 1885, and they looked to say, how can we control the resources and the people of the African continent for the next 1,000 years? This is what was on their mind. And they came up with a master cryptic plan that we must share amongst ourselves by partitioning the African continent. When they did it, they did not consider linguistics, ethnography, meaning the ethnic groups, the cultural mores and cultural practices of the people to partition. They just went with a knife and fork like you slice spaghetti or pizza and chopped up the African continent. Now, as a result of doing that, when independence came, I'm not faulting any of the leaders at the time of independence because we were so happy just to get independence. Our leaders did not realize the in-depth damage that that partitioning had done.
By 1884, 1885, and afterward, there wasn't no dispute about who was in charge of Africa, just who was in charge of what part of it.
To us. So as a result, here we are 50 to 60 years after independence. There's not one African country, including Ghana, that is self-reliant, self-sufficient in order to, furnish the needs of our people with food, clothing, shelter, security. We are still liable to the former colonial powers. There is so much distrust, and the distrust that we have is not so much the distrust of the European, which is wrong. We should be distrustful of them because they are the ones who actually caused the problem. But our immediate distrust is our next door sister neighbor. We distrust our neighbors because of these artificial borders. And these artificial borders have an economic fallout that has inhibited economic sustainability of our nations. It has inhibited not only the economic sustainability, but good governance has not been able to take fold because of these artificial borders.